The Voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan, 87.9.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The Voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing hiding at tigil.
Noon, it's Jovi Miroy. RKS. Right. So, how is everybody this Thursday afternoon? We're back on RKS, our Science, Technology, and Society program here at Radio Katipunan. It's September 10, 2020. Christmas is just around the corner. And with us is, of course, one of our regular panelists, Dr. Butch Ong. Hi, Butch.
Hi, Jovi. Glad to be here. Good afternoon to everyone listening. It's a rainy afternoon, pero I think let's not dampen today's show. Tama si Jovi. Christmas is around the corner. I've been hearing Jose Marichan actually for the past few days.
It's an Atenean. Did you know that? It's an Atenean.
He is?
Yes, he's an Atenean. Is that your clinic? Are we fortunate enough to be in your clinic?
Yeah. So you can see it behind me are COVID testing kits.
Oh boy! All right. So Ben is going to be late. Would you know the reason why he's late?
Oh, errands.
Errands. I hope he didn't forget. So we also started the semester here in Ateneo. Is the semester also starting in UP?
Yes. In fact, today is the first day, and I had my first class at 8:30, and I will have my second class at 4 p.m. I guess that's why I have to leave before 4 mamaya, no? But everyone is actually anxious, hindi lang estudyante pero kami mga professors. Old school profs like me, I'm not really very tech savvy, so it's the first time I'll be doing fully remote classes. So medyo kabado pa kami and using our online portal. We have our own called UVLE, University Virtual Learning something experience at
UVLE. Wow.
UVLE.
University Virtual Learning Experience.
I think so.
Education.
Education siguro.
Learning, e-learning. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but the past week had several STS issues. We're not going to cover all of them. There was the white sand. The white sand, and Ben is not here to talk about it. Maybe he will not show up.
No, he will.
All right. So what is the white sand issue again? But before we go to the STS issue, do you have a COVID update?
Oh yes. Okay. So our group released its September 7
And your group,
prediction.
just for the sake of those who are just tuning in now or just following us now, your group is what group?
The UP Octa Research Group.
All right.
Anyway, so we have a bit of good news. In the first week of September, our R naught is now below 1.0. In fact, in the Philippines, it's 1.92. In NCR, is 1.94. No? So,
Wow.
no, not 0.92. Sorry, and 0.94. It's really below one. It's
Below 1 na lang. 0.92
in the
ang Philippines. 0.94 medyo mataas ng konti.
NCR,
So
yeah.
it's less than 1.
Oh,
And
yeah.
again, R naught is the infection rate, the reproduction
number.
rate. No? So
Yes.
I think, Justin, if you have an applause, we should congratulate our kababayans. So what does that mean, Doc Butch?
Okay.
That
that,
that we're below 1.
if an R value is above 1, it means it is being actively transmitted in the communities. No? So for every one person, one other is infected. That's the R value of 1. If it's below 1, it means no one is getting actively infected. The transmission has slowed down. In fact, I can boldly say we have flattened, not flat, we are flattening the curve already. No, it's not flattened yet.
And
Kasi-
despite the GCQ,
yes,
despite the GCQ.
yeah. We
So
expect,
how do you explain that? So how do you explain the decrease?
we expected, of course, that the R value will continue to rise a little bit after MECQ, but fortunately, people got used to the self-discipline. No? They're now used to wearing masks here. They're now used to social distancing. No? And I think they got a taste of what it was like back at MECQ. So parang psychologically, ayoko na bumalik doon sa MECQ na yon, no? So I suppose it's going down. And I must also say that this was for me at least, it was a gain. We gained from the 2-week timeout, which the healthcare workers asked for the start of August. No? Tamang-tamang timeline kasi, Jovi, the timeline is every after release of easing of quarantine, from, let's say, ECQ to MECQ, MECQ to GCQ, the effect is always a week or 2 weeks after the release. So, tamang-tama yung timeline eh. At the end, at the 3rd week of August, na release yung MECQ, nag-GCQ tayo, and 2 weeks later, voila, our value is lower than 1. No? But hindi pa tayo, it's not a cause for celebration yet because our, what do you call that? The positivity rate is still 12%. No? The target is 5%. So medyo malayo na yun.
What is the positivity rate again? The number of
Okay.
people getting infected.
Yes, so for every 100 people tested, 12 people are found to be positive. So the target, not our own target, is 5%. That's when we
It was. Did it decrease or did it increase?
It decreased a lot from 17 to 12. No, medyo malaki yung ano. However, it decreased very slowly, from 17 in August to 12 in first week
So,
of September.
how do you explain that the R naught is below 1 and yet the positivity rate is still
Yeah.
above the desired one, which is 5%, below 5%?
Yeah, because we have increased our testing capacity. So we are now testing more people, and we are discovering more people who have COVID, even those who are mildly symptomatic. Nakaka-capture na natin and nare-report na through contact tracing, no? So it's still above 5 because our contact tracing has na fine-tune na yung contact tracing to an art, no? So but we expect sana, no, I think you've been we've been seeing our reactions of people's posts sa social media that by 2 months we would see a positivity rate of maybe less than 10, maybe even 5%, and our R value hopefully below zero point 0.5, no, way below 1. So by that time, sana we can sing Christmas songs, pero kaya lang may mask pa rin dapat tayo.
Yes, they do in Taiwan, and because in
Yeah.
Taiwan, learned a lot from it. I suppose in China as well. So that is
Yes.
something that the students should understand. Maybe they will be able to go out in December.
Actually, I believe so. I think we'll be able to go out with kasi 'di ba, if you notice, every time they release the restrictions, no, dati only 70%, only 30% capacity ng restaurant, then naging 50%, then baka mamaya later on 70%.
50% na ba? Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, in GCQ, yes, it's half the capacity of an eating establishment. So pagdating ng December, who knows, 80
Pero
to
dapat
90%.
siguro dun sa mga karinderiya, at mga Jolly Jeep, at saka dyan sa, there should be a stricter monitoring. Not regulation, monitoring.
Well, actually, dapat regulation pa rin, no?
Yes.
Regulation not meaning not policing, but
Yes.
but giving policies and recommendation and
Yeah,
regulation.
baka kasi I wonder, I would maybe I'm discriminating. Although I don't eat in in a restaurant. Not at all. Although I tried it once because one of my former students invited me. So that is something to think about, no? Maybe what will be the precautions that we'll have for less, kasi sa mall, the establishment, the mall administration can regulate their people, no? But maybe
Yeah.
like Jolly Jeeps and carinderias and I guess people who just have stalls outside their houses. How will you monitor that? Would there be are you guys looking into that?
Well, in general, the barangay should actually monitor their own
Yes,
establishment inside, no? And of course, you don't want to see police, PNP, nagbabantay habang nagtutusok ka ng fishball.
Pero yung ba mataas ba ang danger doon? Yung nagbebenta ng fishball or yung nagbebenta ng peanuts? I see them kasi
Well, yes.
mataas
Because
ang
Yeah.
possibility for infection.
the risk
Nuts.
is actually, the risk is very high with street food vendors, no? Because people really, if you eat fishball, no, kahit na ang balak mo isang stick lang, malamang makakain ka ng 10 stick. And ang stay mo doon is more than 15 minutes, and you don't eat with your mask on, you eat with it off, no? And people will congregate,
They
people
will dip in that wonderfully tasting
yeah.
concoction.
And then yung dipping of the fishball into that arnibal nila o kaya suka nila, no.
Yes.
So it is high risk pa rin, no. I think I believe we should ask the establishments to give their own regulations, no, to parang to encourage people to eat faster or just take out the food o kaya eat with only 2 people with social distancing, no.
Yung shabu-shabu, kasi yun, people are going to these shabu-shabu places. Is that safe or not safe? The food is brought there raw.
Well, sa shabu-shabu kasi pinakukuluan yung sabaw, no. So
Okay.
boiled, no. It's being boiled. Kaya
Okay lang yun.
okay, as long as you use your serving spoon to get food.
Kasi
Diba?
di ba salo-salo sila doon?
Oh, salo-salo
It's
tayo.
really,
Oo.
pasaway talaga yung mga...
Oo.
Now, the thing is, I am really very cautious, because it's still in the 2000s. And in Korea and in Spain, I know, they are having spikes again.
Pero ano, Jovi, pababa na yung ating daily new case reports. No? It
I
is
see.
going down. What I always say, well, whenever I'm guested in a radio for an interview, no, I
Oo
always
nga,
say,
madalas na, madalas na.
mapapansin, pwede na ako tumakbong Senado yata. Eh.
Oo nga, oo.
Anyway, so sinasabi ko pa,
Chancellor na lang.
Nako. Well, I always tell the people, no, sa pinaka dulo ng aking guesting, my last words are always that let's learn from the other countries. So the science experience from the other countries is this, no? New Zealand, Singapore, China, they were declared COVID free for several months. COVID free. They were declared COVID free. So nag-open na yung industry nila, transportation sector, everything, no? And then after 100 days, boom,
Yeah.
nag-second spike, nag-second wave.
I think they
So
had
we don't want that
15
happening.
in New Zealand. Dami nun. Kasi
So,
where did it come
dami
from?
nun. Oo. Well, of course, they probably come from travelers. Kasi when you're COVID free, syempre bukas ng airports, bukas na yung barko, yung ports, no? And
Yeah.
yung gagaling yun. Plus, of course, yung mga nakatago na na walang symptoms pero positive pala, they don't know they're positive, they're carriers, no? So, yung mga nakatago and then biglang nagkaroon ng symptom,
Will there be a time that everyone will have to take a test? Will have to be tested?
no naman.
No,
No,
that's not in the horizon. WHO never said that.
Yeah, and it's not fair also to force people to be tested, no? That's why we have our
Kasi
guidelines.
at some point, di ba yung mga, I know that at some point, yung lahat daw ng Amerikano dyan sa Ateneo had to be tested for a particular disease at some point.
Ano yan, Jovi, no? In general, hindi naman kailangan. However, I do support institutions, especially companies, schools, universities, no, who have a higher security protocol than the Department of Health, no? Sabi kasi ng DOH, hindi na kailangan ng testing basta walang symptoms, no? After quarantine, pwede nang bumalik sa trabaho, no? Pero I support companies and the universities who ask their yung co-workers to be tested for the safety of everyone else inside the establishment.
Right. So we're seeing, we're good, no? These are the numbers will not lie. So this is not a joke. It's not an illusion. It is really, it has gone down, and it's simply because of wearing masks, face shields, contact tracing. Because contact tracing, we have an experience naman there sa TB. So we are very, we know each other naman in every community. So I think that should really be doable. I think that's what the Thai people they had, they had a village health volunteers.
Yes.
Do we have that too? Volunteer contact tracers. All right.
We have the barangay health workers. They're volunteers, no? The barangay health workers. Some of them are being tapped for contact tracing. Pero Jovi, I want to share with the listeners one very important aspect of science technology society, no? That we could be laser focused on one thing such that naka-blinders na tayo. Alam mo yung sa kabayo, may blinders. Ang tawag sila doon yung blinders, no? Yes, COVID is very important now. It is the in thing now. We should actually look at it with a microscope now. But remember, it's a rainy season. It's dengue season. So dengue doesn't care if COVID is here, no?
We have an experience with dengue, no? So in fact, those
yes.
they were already reinfected. That's the second. They didn't know they had dengue already.
Yeah.
And apparently reinfection of dengue is more dangerous. So you're saying that there is also again a kind of epidemic sa dengue?
Dengue is endemic to us. No? I actually teach that sa STS class ko. No? It is endemic in the Philippines in that it is really found here. Much like malaria is found in Palawan, dengue is found everywhere in the
Kasi,
Philippines. At
kasi yung
certain parts.
COVID, hindi endemic.
Yeah.
Yun.
Well, ngayon,
Imported.
pero now it is.
Ang tawag ba? Exodemic.
Exodemic. Pero with dengue naman kasi, no, it kills a lot of children every year, no, and I I think it's more of a killer than COVID is. No, COVID is a low death rate. No, the problem with COVID is that it's transmissible. Ang bilis kumalat kapag may isang kaso. No, dengue is fatal. It's a problem talaga with high mortality rates. You are correct. In STS kasi we are trained to study science, no, to fully appreciate dengue for what it is, no. You can be reinfected. However, on your second infection of dengue, that carries a high fatality. On your third, fourth, fifth, and sixth reinfections, okay na. You can be reinfected, but it's not as fatal as the second one. That's the nature of dengue, no? So in COVID naman, we still don't know any patterns, no? You can be reinfected, of course, with COVID, but we still don't know if it is more fatal or less fatal than the first one, no? But with dengue, we have studied dengue so much over the last few decades na, no? Since the 1940s pa, pinag-aaralan
Kaya
natin
tayo
dengue.
nagpapataas ng ranking ng UP eh.
Yung pag-aaral.
Mga research sa dengue.
Oo. So, yan yung sinasabi ko sa STS students na natin ngayon, no? Including natin ngayon siguro. That whenever we study science from all angles, no? And we study science together with the other like tangent topics. No? For example, it is now the rainy season. Anong tangent topic ngayon ng COVID? It's dengue. It's a dengue season. You could have two disease entities in 1 month, in one season, together, no? That's very dangerous actually. If you have two, one will bleed.
Yeah, yung mga magulang na nakikinig sa atin, they should take note of that, no?
You know, especially when kids are at home, no? So ngayon,
So it's more dangerous when kids are at home kasi nga sometimes actually that's what happened to the kids, you know, they got it from their neighbor.
Exactly, no? So kasi pag nasa school tayo, although we do have dengue in our school, when I was in grade school, palaging meron. Especially the grade 5 area. Ate, pasong tirad ako eh. Grade 5 pasong tirad eh. Sa area na yon, puro lamok. So lagi every section may sakit. What I'm saying is that in school merong may sanitation program. May tagalinis, no, mayroong taga-ganito. Sa bahay,
saka may liability yata yung school.
Sa bahay wala. Sino maglinis ng bakuran? Kundi tayo lang. No, wala naman tayong mautusan para maglinis sa sariling bakuran natin. So that's why getting dengue from home is actually of greater rate. Marami na-infect ng dengue sa bahay kaysa sa eskwelahan. No? Kasi sa school, yung hygiene and sanitation is regulated. But
so,
home,
will the DOH have a parallel campaign for dengue?
Well,
especially in relation to greater chest infection.
They should actually, no. The focus is so much with COVID right now, no. I believe kasi right now it's raining outside, no. Kailangan siguro may parang sumusundot-sundot ng mga infomercials and posters about dengue.
Ang alam kong sinabi nila noon, 'di ba, yung there should be no shallow water. There should be no water. Stagnant water. So, ano yung mga dapat alalahanin ng mga magulang? Tignan nila yung mga lawa doon sa kanila, yung stagnant water.
Okay. Ito din another STS lesson naman to.
Yeah.
With COVID, we know how to prevent it, no? Hand washing, wearing of mask. That's a standard for COVID. Yan yung alam natin works with COVID. In dengue, actually we know what works. Clean your environment. Okay? Take out the garbage properly. Remove yung mga tires that are, ginagawang swing. no? Or puddles outside, or pots.
Kasi pwedeng anuhan yun ng water.
Yes,
Kaya
and
it's really tangent with the rainy season.
exactly. No? So yun nga, no? Pagdating sa science and technology, as a doctor actually, yun ang training din sa amin, no? Not to look at the disease entity as it is, no, in public health, but look at the patterns and seasons right now, no? So right now we have COVID, which is actually going down, which is good. We're kind of winning the fight. But now there's another battle coming in, which is dengue, no? So dalawang
Kasi
science,
ano din yun no?
Yeah.
Behavior din. Culture
Oh.
and therefore behavior.
definitely, no?
Oo,
It's
diba?
the way we
Kasi
clean the environment.
Oo. So, cleaning the tires, but you also need to like, which means that maybe we can also ask the barangay governments, the local governments, if they should have that campaign, no? Because that will also tax the health facilities.
You got my next you got my next topic actually na sabihin ko sa iyo, no. Right now kasi ang ating healthcare capacity or utilization of hospital beds mataas pa rin, nasa red mark pa din ang ICUs natin. Halos puno pa yung ating ICUs. With dengue now, and we know dengue can send you to the ICU very quickly, no. Wala ka nang mapupuntang ospital ngayon dahil puro COVID, no. And they'll turn you away because of COVID. So saan mo pupunta yung may dengue? So tama ka, clean your environment, no? Get rid of those mosquitoes or the breeding areas of mosquitoes, and make sure your garbage can is covered, no? Yung mga drum na may tubig
Kasi
nakatakip.
itong dengue na to, it's through this mosquito, di ba? The
Yeah.
Aedes something.
Aegypti. Aedes aegypti mosquito.
yeah.
That's what they call the vector, no? The vector is a carrier of the disease, which is the Aedes aegypti.
Aegypti.
You know?
So, yeah, is it from Egypt? Is it from Egypt?
I maybe, no?
So that's the new thing that we need to watch out, no? And they
Yeah,
have the
no.
same symptoms as COVID.
No. The symptom of
fever.
dengue is bleeding.
Bleeding.
Yan ang symptom ng dengue, no? COVID naman is difficulty breathing because it's respiratory in nature, no? But dengue is more bleeding, so you can die of internal bleeding. You know, it still has high
Yeah.
fever,
Yeah.
like COVID. That makes it similar,
Yeah.
but COVID doesn't have bleeding.
I see. All right. So maybe those who are, because I'm pretty sure they are listening to us. So that's another thing that media should pick up on.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
in
So
science communication.
yes. So before we continue, we have a list of other SDS issues. Diba? Last week we have that. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. The white sand, the Manila Bay, but there is also the California fires, and then the online learning. So as a segue, we'll listen. Justin, are you ready to play our video on California fires? Justin?
And now to the
So,
West
let's
Coast,
wait.
where blowtorch winds sent wildfires racing anew today. Oregon's governor reported hundreds of homes had burned, and California struggled again to corral fires up and down the state. Stephanie Sy has our report.
Heavy winds and low humidity. The day's forecast brought fresh dangers to much of California, where smoke from 24 active fires blotted out the sun in the Bay Area, turning the skies an eerie orange.
All the windows are open in my house, and look how dark it is. This is crazy.
In Central California, the Creek Fire, among the biggest in the state, is still raging completely unchecked. Authorities say it has burned more than 360 buildings and is threatening 5,000 more around the Sierra National Forest east of Fresno. All national forests were closed down statewide today to prevent other fires from erupting. Farther north, another fire rapidly exploded overnight in Butte County, which led to evacuation orders and warnings, including for the town of Paradise, which was decimated by the state's deadliest wildfire in 2018. More than 2 million acres have been burned in fires across California, an unprecedented amount this early in the season. But the National Weather Service is warning of elevated fire risk in much of the western U.S. Oregon is dealing with at least 35 active fires. Thousands have been ordered to evacuate, and a state of emergency was declared overnight. Satellite imagery shows the staggering amount of smoke from fires there and in California. In Washington state, wildfires burned more acres in a single day than normally seen in a full year. Crews in Washington battled through the smoke-filled skies overnight. Much of the devastation centered around the small farming town of Malden in the eastern part of the state.
Everything gone. Clothes, beds, everything.
About 80% of homes and structures were destroyed. Strong winds are also driving fires in other parts of the drought-stricken West, from Arizona to Montana. Still, crews in some regions got a moment of respite. A drastic temperature plunge around Denver, Colorado yesterday brought with it snow, helping contain fires there.
Had a little unexpected weather roll in. Weather in the 80s yesterday and now in the 20s today.
Extreme weather and extreme fires. But back in California, there's reason to hope for a break.
The wind activity appears to be dying down, which is encouraging. And the rest of the week looks a little bit more favorable.
For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Stephanie Sy.
So Butch, what did you want to talk about regarding online learning?
Yeah, no, kasi nga, we started our first day of class today, and actually Ben and I have some feedback already. This is the new normal for the next until the end of the year.
If we are expecting things to be better by December, do you think by second sem will go face to face or hindi pa din?
I suggest not. No?
You suggest it.
I don't suggest this, especially for DepEd. We know that the student to teacher ratio is very high, one teacher for every 50, 80 students nagkumpulan sa classroom, hindi pa dapat, they can have a parang blended type of learning when they can go to school once a week, and then Monday ibang set, Tuesday ibang set, Wednesday ibang set, but once each student can meet in class once a week, just to lower the number of people inside the campus. Pero yeah, you're right. By second semester, ang suggestion ko as a medical professional ay hindi pa yung gaya normal.
So, what are the issues you're confronting as you enter into online learning?
Okay, ito nga yung problema. As you know, UP, the student body from UP, much like in Ateneo, they come from all over the country, kaya nga nag-dorm dito kasi nakatira sa bundok yung pamilya, o nakatira sa tabing dagat, kaya nga may dormitories, And in those areas, very sketchy yung kanilang internet connection. Yung iba nga doon, walang cell site, walang telco, walang cellphones. So, yun ang challenge really ngayon sa online learning. Although we wanted to delay the opening of
I
classes.
thought you would be opening in October nga. Hindi na tuloy yun.
That's what we thought also.
Alright.
But I think
Bigla, kasabay nyo na kami.
I think you started yesterday.
Yesterday, but it was supposed to start September 2.
Okay.
But the actual start was yesterday.
Yeah. So ang challenge talaga is
your kids are here, no? You have a kid in
one.
LA?
Yeah, one in Polisar.
Hindi bio. Hindi magdodoktor.
My panganay is in bio, but in this school.
Right.
In UP.
So maybe your son will go to law. Yeah.
That's what he wants, no? Kasi yung side ng family ko, mga doctors, the side ng family ni Mrs., mga lawyers. So, yeah,
I
that's,
see.
I think, yeah. My panganay is with medicine, my pangalawa is with law. I think that's
Mahirap huntingin niya dahil Ong ang name. You know?
madami kami. Madami. But yung ano nga, yung challenge talaga is that how do we get our lessons to the students? And nagkaroon ng konting solution. I believe it's a band-aid solution, but the solution was to send them course packs. I think Ateneo also plan to send students, I think yung USB na nandun na yung mga babasahin nila, no?
Yes. So you needed to design your course so that, in fact, that touches on online learning. Eventually, it's just reading.
Yeah.
A reading course.
Ang sabi ko nga sabi ko nga sa mga colleagues ko, and I told Ben this talaga. Sabi ko, okay, we send them a link or we send them a packet, no? Of may USB, etc. And then send all these things. Yung mga estudyante ko wala namang computer kasi nakatira sa bundok. Wala naman silang computer dahil they cannot afford it. How will they access the lessons, no? Okay, isa pa. So we send them a photocopy of all the documents they have to read, the books, whatever, no? How do we give them an examination if they can't even go online? How do we assess their work? How do we grade them? So solution is for the students to send us back the exam, di ba? Pero ang courier naman natin before it reaches me, 3 buwan. So delayed din ang grades niya. And gagastos siya for a courier. Kawawang bata, the family might sell their Carabao just to send the documents to school. So that's a real challenge in this new normal, no? But I must also say, I think I'm encouraged by what I'm going to say now, no? That many of our students actually made investments already. Well, they made investments to learning, no? They bought computers, they bought prepaid Wi-Fi. Marami mga estudyante ko ganun na, no? I was surprised this first day. In my first class at 8:30, none of them had issues with connectivity. I asked them through Zoom.
That's interesting.
Sabi ko,
So wala na. Wala na.
Sabi ko, privately chat with me now if you have internet problems. Wala. And I know some of them really live far-flung areas, no? So they made investments into their own learning. So I was very happy when I heard that they really want to learn.
Kasi yung ibabayad siguro sa dorm.
Yes.
Binili na lang.
Bili na lang. No? And siguro the parents baka umutang din ng pera sa kapitbahay. Maybe some of them had to sell ari-arian to buy a computer. But this is all part of the learning that they want to finish early because they want to go to the workforce early. So gumawa lang sila ng paraan.
Yeah, gagamitin din naman nila yan pag nagtrabaho na sila, di ba?
Yeah, that's right.
But as was said before, there was a time that the universities, at least abroad, would rent out computers. But this is not something that the university is ready to do.
Okay. For one, last year kasi, jubilarian year namin sa Chemistry Alumni Foundation. And we decided to donate whatever we accrued for our year to buying computers for our students in chemistry.
Yes.
So renting out computers, I don't know, but kami at least, our foundation, sa jubilarian year nga kami, we had a meeting with my classmates. Bigay na lang natin ng pera sa department, and then let the department.
So yung renting, you sort of give them a bit of responsibility.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Of course, it will be. I don't know what happens to the computers once they are given back.
Yes.
But that can also. How many computers were you able to donate your foundation?
BS chemistry students kasi konti lang ang talagang parang underprivileged doon I think we are going to be able to buy 3 or 4 computer laptops, and then we will use the rest for yung cards and yung prepaid cards for data. Then we'll just distribute them. So, kasi konti lang naman ang class namin, hindi naman kayo malaking class. So, pero we elected to allow the department to choose.
So Dr. Benj is here.
Tama. I have to take leave kasi
So is he? I don't see his.
Yeah.
There he is. So Doc Ben, welcome.
Yeah. Good
So
afternoon.
I think Butch wants to relate to you feedback on the beginning of classes before he leaves. So Butch, you want to? Yes.
In my case, kasi it's not as difficult as for others, no? Other colleagues in the faculty. Kasi yung STS ng UP, a few years ago, we decided to go blended. Remember, Jovi, you attended the convention, di ba? Yeah, di ba, one of the resolutions there was, was to go through blended learning. And the reason why that was the case is because nawawalan tayo ng pasok dahil sa bagyo.
Yeah.
But I think that was the school year that we lost more than about 10 days of class days yata. Dahil sa baha, bagyo, and some political, whatever political event happening.
Holidays.
Corona, things like that, no? So, blended. So what I did was just to translate in blended approaches to completely online, and that would be the problem now, because yung the courses that we designed as blended still is 70% classroom work and about 30% online, di ba? And now we're 100% online, and the only drawback for that is we just cannot accept too many students. So our online classrooms will be just about 30 students at most, compared to the regular semester that you may have 60 students, no, in the classroom.
Hindi kayo nag-quarterly kasi we had our solution is you still have the same number of students in total, but you get 2 quarters. So every quarter you only have 90.
Hindi naging ganun yung arrangement. Perhaps Ateneo can tell us more about it.
Yeah. So at each time you only have 90, but for the whole sem you have 180.
Yeah, that has to be discussed, no? Kung how that could be. I don't know how about the other department.
Let us just mention you didn't exploit the presence of Father Johnny Go.
Because Father Johnny came in after coming from Rome, medyo late na.
That's from London, from England.
From Europe or what? Basta, when the last time I heard he was in Rome. Okay. Yeah, probably the next semester. Di ba kasi tinanong ka, I think you asked kung next semester would be more normal. What we is be face to face.
Yeah.
Sabi ko sa estudyante kanina, pag cancel ng Christmas parties by December, hindi pa tayo pwede mag face to face class in January. That's definite, no?
Everyone's thinking of the Christmas
Yeah,
party.
and there's really a big health risk. If people are in the classroom, you can, the teachers and the students might get sick, no?
Pero second sem, hindi pa pwede.
I don't think so. Maybe we can start looking at that in the next academic year, and probably class sizes will be much reduced, and class contact hours will be much
So
reduced.
let Butch say goodbye for now. Then we'll
Okay,
come to you.
Leaving. Okay.
All right, guys, I have to leave because I have a 4 o'clock class, Yan ang problema rin, new normal. So, I'll have to leave now. So, guys, so my final message this early, sabihin ko na lang that as scientists, all of us as scientists, we have to keep our eyes away from the blinders, no? There are real dangers aside from COVID out there. We have dengue coming in So let's stay safe. Tapos yung sinabi ni Jovi about Christmas, no? Christmas party via Zoom. I think that's another STS lecture. It's an STS topic. Okay, guys.
All right, again, thanks.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right.
See you. So I was just telling him that we have several STS issues, you know. Maybe we'll talk about that next week with the white sand, which is your expertise, the Manila Bay.
Yeah, perhaps by next week we have a
But can you say something about it now? I didn't want to invite Apaong Pin again, no? But he wrote that piece almost defending the. But the real question is this? How much of the environment is this really an opportunity to do environmental work? But did they consult